momentum of the year is already rolling. Today is 8 out of 365. Wow. The frenzy, the grind is all very exciting. How do you feel? I feel good and I'm grateful for life. My name is Ezinne and I'm your host. Finding self, finding purpose. Our topic today is Woman, Check Your Health. It's a continuation in our sign-up series. If you have been following the program, then you know that we started this year with Woman, Refresh, Afresh. That was our call to all to begin again this year, but in a new, different way. There is a saying that if you know better, you'll do better. If you missed it last Saturday, please catch it. Repeat broadcast tomorrow, Sunday, January 9th at 2 p.m. Remember Dr. Berekat Njoku's mantra. She said, what do I need to do? How do I need to do it? And who do I need to accomplish it? The what, the how, the who. If you're just joining us, this is Up You with Ezinne on WFM 91.7. We often hear that health is wealth, and how true that is has been driven home for many of us in the last 2 years. What with the global pandemic that saw lots of people taking ill and their dreams being cut short. You cannot drive your vision or resolutions or live the UpYou life if you're not healthy. By healthy, I mean physically fit, psychologically fit, emotionally fit, financially fit, and even socially fit. Women tend to take care of families while neglecting themselves. This shouldn't be so. You need to be balanced. You need the balanced fitness to perform at your peak. Joining me by phone is Mrs. Chinwe Ezeanya, a certified integrative life coach with trainings in neuro-linguistic programming, emotional freedom technique, matrix reimprinting, and behavioral change therapy skills to resolve fear, anxiety, phobia, and procrastination, with certifications from the Olushola Lanre Coaching Academy. She's a professional insurer, a speaker, a writer, a poet, with 2 books of poems, with a number of published books and articles on various platforms to her credit. Her third publication, More Than a Miracle, which was done in 2018, is a book on the success story of her sojourn in India with her son DK at infancy, on a quest for a liver transplant in 2009, which led to her founding the DK Ezianya Foundation for Liver Diseases, which has brought hope to many. Chinwe is a lover of aesthetics, and her event management business, The Beautiful Gate Limited, has been a household name in the city of Port Harcourt for more than 2 decades. A committed child of God, Chinwe is always available to coach and enable people be the best version of themselves. She's married to Mike, a businessman, and they are blessed with children. Dear listeners, please join me to give a very warm welcome to our guest this evening. Chinwe, how are you? Are you there?
I'm here. Good evening.
Good evening, Chinwe. Happy New Year.
Same to you. It's a pleasure being on your platform today.
It's really wonderful to have you on the show today.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm sure a lot of people were wondering if you're going to be speaking about health on your show, why didn't you bring a medical doctor? And well, I just want them to hear it from you why I brought you, because you are an integrative lifestyle coach. And I'm talking more than just the physicals here when I'm talking health on this program right now. So I'm just going to let everybody experience you like I have experienced you, and get blessed by you. All right?
Thank you.
So welcome. How is Abuja today?
Abuja is cool. The weather is soothing. And the sun is still on, but all is well.
Fantastic. I don't know why, but I'm very excited about this year.
I am too.
Aha, that makes both of us. Okay, so let's get to the meat of it, yeah? Woman, check your health. What is your perspective? Because I know we didn't have a conversation before now. I just gave you the topic.
We didn't.
Yeah.
What I have to say is that women are the backbone of any nation.
Mm-hmm.
And we all know that health is wealth.
Mm-hmm.
Women are very strong. Women are dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
We are multitasking individuals.
Mm-hmm.
We exceed men in a lot of things, but because of where we come from, the world globally, women's role is usually downplayed. But everybody knows that a woman is the mother of all men. A woman is the mother of nations. A woman can do 1,000,000 tasks at a time. So she easily burns herself out. And every woman should get a health check. Because when we are on top of our game, managing our husbands, managing our children, managing our businesses, our career, domestic help, relations, in-laws, and all that, we tend to overlook ourselves. A woman will be one who, rather than spend money to do a health check, would rather take her children that are ill to see a doctor.
True that.
So during the middle life, what happens is that midlife crisis creeps in. Especially for those that really do not have a career. Because they get to a point where they realize that they have sacrificed everything. Everything. And that is when they become most vulnerable. Because if they are married to men who are not very considerate, what happens is that they begin to regret. They console themselves because they have children. So their children will become like an insurance mentally for them. And for that reason, what happens is that they take themselves for granted. And because they take themselves for granted, they become vulnerable to diseases such as cancer, hypertension, mental illnesses. Depression is part of mental illness. So there are different kinds of cancer. And cancer usually comes as a result, in most cases, as a result of stress. One form of stress or the other is cancer. So what we have seen in the coaching business and, the integrative coaching business is that when one is diseased, that is when you are uneasy, you are state of disease, disease can penetrate your body. And that is when the whistle is blown. Because the things that needed to be done were not done. And everything begins with your emotions. From emotion to your belief. So that's what I have about checking the health. Every woman should begin to check her health, especially once you begin to creep into your mid-40s. You become more vulnerable. And statistics shows that a lot of cancer cases are usually from that middle age, 55 up and above, for different kinds of cancers.
Wow. Thank you, Chinwe. Your perspective is quite deep and interesting. I like that bit about disease. When you're diseased, then diseases now have a window, an opening to actually, get into your body. In fact, I'm just thinking to myself and saying to myself, wait, hold on, woman. You're here talking about check your health. Have you checked your own? I'm just, as you were just talking, I was just telling myself, you see, you fall into that middle age thingy. Have you checked yourself, Well, okay, so I'm going to make a mental note to check myself on several levels. I like your explanation because we tend to treat the symptoms and not the source. The emotional baggages we're carrying and everything. When we go to hospital, we don't tell doctors about that. We just say, we have pain, arthritis, and all of that, and we don't know where the cause is coming from. So thank you for helping us and pointing us to some routes that we will explore ourselves even before we go to see the doctors, right?
Yes.
So please, can you tell our listeners? why is it important to take a comprehensive annual health check as well as regular screenings once you pass a certain age, like you said? Why is that important?
Well, it's very important because, like I said, there are various ailments that they don't show you sign. Let me begin with mental health. WHO defines health as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. And it's not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. That means you can have disease or infirmity, but your health can still be good if well managed. Okay. Then there is mental health, which is a state of well-being in which the individual realizes his or her own abilities, can cope with the normal stresses of life, can work productively and fruitfully, and is able to make a combination to his or her community, contribution to his or her community, according to the World Health.
Sorry to cut in there. We have a call. I haven't even opened the lines, but we'll take the call. Hello, good evening. How are you? Hello, good evening. We lost the call. Okay, go ahead, Chinwe.
Right. So these are the definitions of what health is and what mental health is. So anything that is in the absence of this needs to be checked. Okay, so we need to check those excesses so that we don't break down. Because when mental health issues come, what happens is that one becomes depressed.
Yeah.
Begin to do things that ordinarily you wouldn't do. It might come in form of sleeping a lot, eating a lot, or not sleeping at all, or not being interested in going to the places where you normally get excited going, not to meet the people that you normally would be happy to hang around.
Yeah.
Losing interest in work, not having an outlook to life. It's in so many different forms.
Yeah.
So depression is not a good place to be in. Some people become very suicidal, especially men. A lot of women have deeper issues, but when men have depression, they are more vulnerable and more, they commit suicide much more than the women do from statistics. So the health is something that needs to be checked. Cancer, like I said, is very prevalent. So we have a lot of places today where they flag off, cancer, they wear pink ribbons to, celebrate the World Cancer Day, Breast Cancer Day. We have endometrial cancer, cancer of
the most common one, cancer of the breast.
Yeah, cancer of the breast.
Cervical cancer and all of that.
Yes, a whole lot of things.
So basically what you're saying is it's important to do these annual checks and screenings because most of these ailments do not present with any symptoms at all.
A lot of them don't.
Okay.
Sometimes when they present, they might be very deadly at that point. It might be stage 2, 3, or 4. And we know that stage 4 is usually very much volatile than the others,
My fellow women, I hope you're all listening to Chinwe and you're all hearing what she's saying. It's very important that we go get our tests done annually and every so often. Sometimes we hear cases of it didn't show up, even in the annual. Some things don't show up until they get to stage 3 and stage 4. This pandemic has really taught us that we are not supposed to be locked up or not active because a whole lot of mental disorder, a whole lot of depression has come up in the society. It's quite alarming, but I'm just hoping that by this show that we'll be addressing some of them, and then some of us, all of us, not some of us, all of us will be seeking help to be described as healthy, like the definition Chinwe gave to us. And like what I said earlier, it's not just the absence of disease, It's also being fit across several spectrums. Yeah? Okay, Chinwe. Let's know your claim to fame. But before then, let me open the phone lines. I'm opening the phone lines officially right now, and the numbers to call are 707,000 817 817 090-256 25466. The number to text is 070-317-56537. The number to call is 07000-917-917. It's easy to memorize. So please call in. The caller we lost, please call in again so that you can ask your questions firsthand. Of course, Chinwe has told us that health is wealth, and she's explained to us her take on it. The thing is, these things, they sound like cliches, because I started hearing health is wealth a long time ago, but it's just finally becoming clear to me, what it means. Because frankly, if you're not healthy, you can't drive for the things that are important to you. You can't chase that vision. You can't fulfill that purpose. You can't be up and about. You're just going to be ill, and then you're not going to be able to do all the things you want to do. So health is indeed wealth. My people have a way of saying it where I come from. They say ndubisi, and that means life is first. Health is first, So you have to be healthy. You have to be alive. Then you have to be healthy. And then before you can start chasing all the dreams that you've lined up for yourself. So Chinwe, tell us, have you had a health challenge yourself that took its toll on you and stalled your planned progress in life?
I cannot say that I have had, really.
Mm-hmm.
Every health challenge I've had, I managed it with wisdom and the grace of God.
Good.
The only challenge that I had, which was huge, the one that I claim that led me to where I am today, I took it in good faith, and that led to a transformation and the discovery of purpose.
Okay.
I do the things I do. So it came with the gift that God gave to me, a bundle in my little son, DK Naga. DK was named a mighty warrior in battle, even before we understood his medical challenge. He had what is called biliary atresia.
Please, could you just hold it? There's a call coming in. Hello, good evening. This is Up You with Ezinne. May I know who is calling?
Hello.
Good evening. May I know your name and where you're calling from?
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. May I know your name and where you're calling from, please?
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. May I know your name and where you're calling from?
Hello?
Sorry, we lost that call. Go ahead, please. You were saying something about DK Nara, your son.
Yeah, my son, he came with a biliary atresia, which is a congenital liver disease, which affects infants, So,
please, could you say that name again?
Biliary atresia.
Biliary atresia.
The bile system. So the bile system is the system in your liver that produces bile, which aids in digestion of food.
Okay.
It breaks down the fats and oils and all that, vitamin A, D, E, K, they're all produced in the liver. So when the liver is not functioning well, what happens is that you cannot process that. And then the child does not grow, the child does not metabolize food and creates a problem. So it's usually found in infants, neonates.
Okay.
So he came with that challenge. It's usually the absence of a gallbladder or the blockage of the gallbladder.
Okay. For one that young?
Yeah, he was born, and in 3 months, by the 3rd month, it was diagnosed.
Wow.
We ended up in India, and he did a liver transplant.
Whoa.
Which was very huge. Still is today. A lot of transplant is going on today, even in Nigeria. With kidney transplants going on. But liver, we are not doing liver in Nigeria, not yet. Liver, very, it's I don't want to use the word, but there is success rate for India, for liver transplants in India. Particularly from the source where we got help.
Yeah.
But that was a transformational journey for me, which made me write that book more than a miracle, because Even the Indian doctor said, indeed, that this child is more than a miracle. So the reason being that the procedure that was done to save him was the first in medical history. So it was a transplant, yes. You know, so...
Please, could you just hold that thought? A call is coming in.
Hello?
Hello, good evening. This is UpYou with Ezinne.
My name is Olarewaju. I'm calling from Aripo.
Okay.
Yes. She's talking about health, but there's this question I want to ask concerning my wife. She's a workaholic. She always work. So whenever I talk to her about her health, that she should go and check herself, she always say, once she take drugs, that she's all right. So she always works with drugs. Like, she feel like there's no need of being prostitute. Instead of being prostitute, you can just buy paracetamol, and take paracetamol, or anybody take drug. So I want to ask if that is all right, if that is okay.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Olarewaju. I will just let our guest answer. So Chinwe, he's saying that he's got a wife who self-medicates, essentially. What do you have to say to him and the wife?
You know, what I have to say is this. I went to see a dermatologist today. After I took my father to see the dermatologist. And he prescribed some medication for him, very expensive medication. He said to us that some patient came to see him, and the patient had gone to the pharmacy, and they had given him some creams to use because they assumed that what he had was a fungal infection. We all make that mistake. Let me not say we. Most people make that mistake. Your first port of call would be a pharmacy to go and buy what you think is wrong with what you think you have. So, you find a solution there. But most times, when the pharmacist gives you that particular solution, they don't know the broader spectrum. Okay? They are knowledgeable in their own field, but they do not know 100% of medicine. So you go and begin treatment with what they have recommended, but the solution might be bacterial, it might not be fungal. So it will continue to get worse. You keep trying, they will go back, they'll give you another thing. You go back, they give you another thing, until it becomes a big problem. Then you will now spend big money to see the specialist. That's the problem.
I am on that table that you're shaking as well. Especially with the phones that we are all carrying now. If something is wrong with you, you Google it and say, okay, there's another call coming in. Hello, this is UpYou with Ezinne. I know who is calling and where you're calling from.
Good afternoon. This is Mao.
Okay.
From Ikeja.
All right. How are you?
I am just fine, thank you. I'm just listening to a program and heard what the doctor is saying. So I want to have an idea and to ask, like that in the case of this cancer of the thing, when the thing comes up, how do they handle that, or how would they take care of that? Because I have a closer neighbor that has a cancer, a breast cancer, complain about this now. They have been spending money going here and there, trying to do the treatment over this thing. So still not a solution yet. So how can they go about it?
Okay, thank you, Mao. Well, Chinwe, this caller says he's got someone who has cancer, and they've been spending a lot of money going from here to there, and he's asking what really should they do, I think.
Well, how can one handle cancer other than, first of all, the person needs a lot of positive energy around. Okay, so there are cases of people who have cancer, even stage 4 cancer, they did not die. So it doesn't matter what cancer the person has. If one has a will to live, there would be a testimony. So it begins with the emotion. Some people give up easily. Just the name, the word cancer, they're already dead. The only thing that remains will be for them to be buried. So there are so many people that had cancer and they survived it. You know, there are people that have cancer and they manage it, and they manage it fairly well. Mm-hmm. It might still take them eventually, but they require positive energy. That is the starting point. So what are they listening to? You know, mm-hmm. I don't like religion, because most times we talk about religion. Religion might not help you. Mm-hmm. Spirituality is what would help you.
Spirituality.
That is what we talk about as life coaches. Mm-hmm. So even as a life coach, we change the way we pray. You know, the average way people pray is, God, do this for me, do this for me, do this for me. But God has also told us that He is not the answer to all your problems. Some of your problems, you need to find it for yourself, take responsibility for it, take action, and you will begin to manifest what you have decreed. And that is the way to pray, because that is how God also told us. You know, you have to be positive in your words. Be positive in your communication. Visualize what you want, a well-defined outcome. That is one of the things that we are taught in neuro-linguistics programming, NLP, which is the science of the mind and the language of the brain, you know, neuro-linguistics programming, the way you've programmed your mind to think, to see, to believe, to understand each other, to understand the world. That's what NLP is all about.
So you've got to win the battle in your mind first.
Yes, the battlefield of the mind. Mm-hmm. Joyce May wrote a book on it.
Yeah.
You have to win it first. And then diet also helps. Mm-hmm. You know, so if you begin to eat the right diets. So I have a friend, she had the endometrious cancer. Mm-hmm. Age 4. Her mother had it and she died. Mm-hmm. Then about 6 months later, she was diagnosed with that disease. Okay, when it happened to her, she went into denial. She didn't want to accept it. She's married with little children then. This was maybe 8 years ago. Her children were vulnerable because they didn't want to lose their mother.
Yeah.
Her husband was confused. But she did not accept it until her sisters put pressure on her that she needed to do a check and manage it. So she went to look. They said it was stage 4.
Wow.
Everybody knows that stage 4 is death. But, you know, she beat it and she's still alive today. And there is no trace of that.
So she had a good support system, and she had a reason to want to fight.
She did, eventually. But some people came to the hospital. She was in Louth, according to her. I think it was Louth. And some people came and talked about diet, a particular diet, where, you know, you eat the right amounts of vegetables. I remember the word she said to me. She said, let your food, your vegetables be like the rainbow. So all colors of vegetables you can find in the vegetable garden. Buy them. Purple carrot, purple cabbage. You know, yeah, of course it's expensive, you know, but it's cheaper to eat healthy
than to pay the doctors.
Because if you do not take your medicine as your food as your medicine, you will take your medicine as your food.
Oh no.
Health is wealth. And my mantra is, you are what you eat. You are what you eat. And another one is, the things you don't deal with will deal with you.
You know, Chinwe, I wish you could see my face. I'm just like, okay, I'm supposed to be host here, and then you're just giving it to me. You are what you eat. Okay. I'm going to be repeating this one to myself every time I want to eat something. So I hope that we answered our callers. I hope they got something from here. Thank you for calling in. Chinwe, you were telling me about, or you were telling us about the procedure, the first ever that was carried out on your son. I'm still interested in that gist.
Okay, so what happened was that we didn't have an option. Okay, so in those days, largely up till now, you know, if you need to do a liver transplant, you have to find a family member who has a matching blood type. Okay, so the blood has to match. In my own case, my husband was the match for our son, but he had a traumatic surgery, several surgeries due to armed robbery shots, gunshots, you know. So at the point in time I had this child, he needed to do a reconstructive surgery again. So off we went to India. And there we were. He was dealing with his own pain, his trauma, and the doctors were saying, you are the best option for this child, the best donor. He couldn't deal with it. He was not mentally fit because his body was still going through surgery. So at that point in time, we were in a fix. We didn't know what to do. I was willing to donate to my son, but I could not because my blood type
didn't match
from blood type. So, but eventually, when we returned to India the following year, and, we realized that we didn't have an option for donor. But when I made a statement to this doctor, Dr. Neelam Mohan, she is the topmost female pediatric liver transplant
surgeon.
Surgeon.
Good.
No, she's a surgeon. She's a pediatrician, but the surgeon is Dr. Soin. So both of them work as a team. So when I mentioned to her, oh God, if only I could save my son, she said, are you serious? Are you willing to save your son? I said, yes, I am. She said, okay, I'm going to do something. So they started thinking of what to do. It took them 3 months before they were able to find a solution through another family that had a need like we had. So I wanted my son, I wanted to give him a liver, but I could not. The liver is only one, but the liver is the only organ that regenerates.
Yes, so I read that somewhere. Yes, I did read that.
If you cut it off, it grows back. And a little child, they needed a little piece of the liver. The tail, like the tail of a fish, is what they will give to a little child, and it will begin to grow if the baby does not reject it.
Reject it, yes.
For an adult, you need to give the whole of the right lobe, which is like the head of the fish and half of the body. So that's like about 70% of the liver. So in this case, this family came from we were in New Delhi, so they came from Mumbai, and they needed liver for the wife. Okay, they had no donor, so the doctor paired us up, and we were able to do a swap liver transplant.
Please just hold on again. Another call.
Hello.
Hello, good evening. This is Upyu with Ezinne. Who is calling?
Yeah, that's Peter they talk.
Who?
Yeah, Peter.
Okay, Peter, how are you?
Yeah, fine. Yeah, I did hear on a program, so I just want to ask. This cancer vaccine, says the cost of what's the cost of food, they talk about food. Food will the chop now, and they cause the cancer, and the stress away with the good food, and they cause the cancer.
Okay, thank you, Peter from Ikorodu. Chinwe, Peter wants to know whether cancer is caused majorly by the food we're eating now, or the stress we are going through now, or how?
All of the above. It can be caused by genetics. Genetics, the diet, smoking, weight control, a whole lot of things. Not having a well-balanced lifestyle. So it makes the body vulnerable to cancer. Toxic emotions is one of the deadliest causes of cancer too. There is it's called deadly emotions. So when your emotion is not clean, you're always adding pressure onto yourself. You become very vulnerable because the body is actually water. Your body constitutes of 80% water. And when your body is electricity. If you shuffle your leg on a carpet, you find out that you begin to have electricity. And then, when you, like in this, during Harmattan, you begin to feel static all over you. So it's electricity. What you put inside your body from your emotion will determine a whole lot of things. And that brings us back to the field of EFT, which I'm going to discuss later. But let me leave that now. But the answer is a combination of things can cause cancer. Genetics and family history, a whole lot of things can cause cancer.
Okay. Peter, I hope say you hear that one where Madam talk now. All the things where you talk about, they all contribute to cause cancer for person body. Good make we just vex anyhow. Good make we just ask add wahala to ourselves. It just this life, make we just take jeje. The one where we fit do, make we do. The one where we no fit do, we will just leave them for God. So now we go to do we go to manage ourselves, we go to check for hospital. Everything go better. You hear? Okay, so Chinwe.
Let me add to it that, the genes, the race, the density of the breast tissue can also, It's also a factor. Then previous radiation treatment, for instance, people that have had different kinds of cancer, being exposed to radiation can also increase the propensity to, become vulnerable to cancer again, or maybe a different kind of cancer, So a greater than average number of menstrual periods can also increase the risk of breast cancer. The number of pregnancies, late first pregnancy, or even no pregnancy at all. Birth control pills, a whole lot of things. So I'm not a medical doctor, but these are from research.
Yeah. Okay. We are fast running out of time, so we need to get to talk about other things. I have a question here from the WhatsApp platform, so let's just take that. This question is from Shade. Shade says, okay, what preventive measures can one take instead of waiting to do curative? Shade wrote in from Magudo.
So what I would answer is, first of all, you do your mental health check. If you know anybody who is a life coach, I'm a life coach. You do an assessment to know whether you have clarity in life. There's nothing that beats having a clarity of your goal. Set a goal in a particular aspect of your life, and you will achieve it in less than half the time that you set it. Anything that you want to do, you must have a plan for it. If you want to go to Dubai from here, you are not going to enter a bus going to Ikorodu. You have to have a well-defined outcome on how to go. And then, if your phone is not working, you're not going to take it to a mechanic to fix. You have to take it to a GSM repairer to fix. So, when you have a well-defined outcome in anything that you want, you will find out that you begin to achieve it faster rather than go round and round, which takes us back to the pharmacy, self-medication. At the end of the day, when the issues become aggravated, you will now end up in hospital.
Where you should have started in the first place.
And the cost of a casket is more expensive than doing a health check.
That's something to think on, yeah? That's something to think on. Sometimes I feel like I personally think I'm careless about my life, and I think a lot of people are too. Yeah, that's something to think on. Medical journals are reporting that an upsurge of mental stress, all this fear, anxiety, and everything since the new dispensation of pandemic and everything, and then it's prevalent. It's also here in Nigeria. I've seen a lot of cases like that. But the thing is, we have a phobia, and we also stigmatize people a lot. If you tell someone that I'm depressed, they suddenly conclude that you're suicidal. If you tell someone that you're having anxiety or panic attacks, they'll say, kre, and then so most of us don't come up to say the things that are wrong with us or seek help. I remember telling somebody sometime that I was going to see a psychiatrist, and she was like, Ezinne, you don't decrease. And that's not the case. You just want to be able to do some assessments and be sure that you're still 50-50 and ready to go. How can we do all of this thing? Does EFT have something to do?
Yes, in fact, that is the main cross of the EFT. EFT talks about your emotion. So emotion freedom techniques. It's a simple procedure that is done, to be able to balance your body. So, EFT stems from the science of what the Chinese call acupuncture. It's similar to acupuncture. So they look at the meridians of the body, the nerve endings. Okay, so everybody is wired in such a way that there are nerve endings, and those nerves, when you manipulate them, you can reprogram the energy in the body. It's such a simple thing for those of us that know and understand how to use it. It's magic. It's just as simple as you have a headache, you take paracetamol and the headache goes.
Yeah.
But we all know that it's not in all cases that you take a paracetamol and the headache goes. So if it removes, then it means that there is something creating that pain called headache. And that is where we come in as life coaches. We need to investigate to know exactly what is going on. We ask you certain questions, and then we do certain interventions. And because I'm an integrative life coach, a life coach helps you set realistic goals that are smart and achievable. But when we are integrative coaches, what we do is that we can do therapies to be able to harmonize your other, issues of life. So if I'm coaching you to set a specific goal, yes, if I realize that you are having an issue with gaining clarity to be able to set that goal, or if I realize that you are stuck in your belief, I will begin to probe why you are thinking that way. So I have to check your goals, your values. I have to check your beliefs. And if the goal and the value and the belief are not in alignment, you will never achieve that goal. Never. Just like a couple, if your goal for your marriage and your husband is not in alignment, what happens is that you will always quarrel, you will always argue. Nations go to war because goals and values and beliefs are not in alignment.
Don't align. Chinwe, this has been a very interesting discussion, and time, as always, just plays a trick on you when you're having fun. So I didn't get to hear all of my DK Nara story. So I'm placing an order for your book. So I'm going to have to order for 10 copies of your book, so that I can give them away to our listeners on the show, starting from next week, so that they can get to read your story firsthand, and also for myself to finish hearing that story firsthand, because it looks like it was a miracle there, more than a miracle actually, So I'm going to have to ask you to just wrap up in 1 minute.
Okay.
What will be your last word to the woman who listened to you today, who is determined to fix her health so that she can get on her journey to the UpYou life?
Thank you so much, Ezinne. Thank you. Your words are so soothing and encouraging. Thank you for offering to buy my books. To the woman, every woman, please check your health. Don't take yourself for granted. Don't take yourself for granted. Do your mental assessment. Visit a life coach or call a life coach. If you need to reach out to me, I am available. My numbers are 080-330-29205. You can find me on Instagram. I'm on Facebook, but Instagram is the best place that you can find me.
Thank you.
Would be available to coach you at a reduced cost. Just tell me
you came from UpYou with Ezinne and you get some discounts from Chinwe. Fantastic. Thank you, Chinwe, for these illuminating nuggets of wellness. I've learned a lot today, and I am sure our listeners too. I, for one, will certainly pay more attention to my health. So thank you. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you. Ezinne DK turned 14 yesterday. So
oh my God, I'm rooting for him. I'm sure that I'm going to beat him one day. Okay? Yeah. All right. So in the scheme of things, good health is perhaps the biggest blessing you can give yourself, my dear listeners. Whoever said health is wealth is very wise. You cannot travel or live your UpYou life if you're not healthy. This is not an optional item in the toolkit. It is a must-have. As a matter of fact, I'll go as far as saying that it's your real competition, the one that can keep you back, keep you down, keep you from achieving all the things that you want to achieve. If your head is sick, it cannot create. If your mind is sick, it cannot see. If your body is sick, it cannot move. If your psyche is messed up, the will to carry on will not be there. Even the good book admonishes us that we remain in good health so that all may go well with us. You must succeed in the fight of making the right choices every day of your life. I wish I knew then what I know now. But as they say, better late than never. Fight to stay healthy. Fight to eat healthy. Fight to exercise your body, mind, and soul. Find what works for you, but please get in shape across all facets of your life. Your life is a project, and you, dear woman, is a project manager. So check your health, schedule that appointment today. And this is where we wrap up today's edition of UpYou with Ezinne. It's been another amazing one. Please follow us on Instagram and Facebook at UpYou with Ezinne. Get copies of our books, UpYou, and When Adversity Strikes, Fight. Thank you. UpYou to everyone that is involved in creating this magic every week, starting with you, our dear listeners, our guests, speakers, our advertisers, callers, my darling Taiwo, engineer on duty, the amazing UpYou team, and the best radio station, WFM 91.7. You all stay strong, stay blessed, and stay lifted. My name is Ezinne Kanem, and is UpYou. Bye for now.